It's the 2023 start with Purposefully Unplugged with Lori. Happy New Year,
New Year,
Lori.
Dave.
You want to talk about the healthcare system today, and I'm all excited about that because I recently did a podcast with an MPP about it and found out some interesting facts, and you've got some really interesting stuff you want to talk about, and just that mental health preservation for our healthcare workers, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think, Dave, the last few months we've been talking about kindness and just self-compassion. And as we come into the new year, I think that's the same underlying topic here. I think everyone working in the healthcare system right now is doing the best they possibly can. My sense from talking to people is that they're tired and they're overwhelmed and overworked, and that can be nurses and PSWs, physicians as well. So certainly, and Dave, what we're seeing in Ontario is shortages in several positions of the healthcare system. So those that are working harder.
They're exhausted. I know I had a family member that was working in a scenario, not as a PSW, but in a healthcare facility and had to walk away during the pandemic. Just too much, just too much. And boy, that speaks to it, doesn't it? Right there, just too much.
And if it is too much, that's where someone.
What are you seeing?
If it is too much,
what are you seeing with healthcare workers? Like,
we'll have to edit that out.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. You go ahead.
And when someone is getting to that point in their career, that's when seeking some assistance from a therapist or a counselor makes a lot of sense. So I'm glad to be talking about this and just encouraging people to reach out.
What are you seeing as the number one? Is it anxiety, depression? What's sort of the basis?
Well, burnout can be fed by all of those, Dave. So really, self-compassion often is the root of that. Kristen Neff has done a lot of research around self-compassion. So anyone working in the healthcare system, that is a main component, but absolutely exhaustion and grief and loss for the jobs that they once might have had, and just feeling that they're not able to do what they might have done in the past.
And you're giving me some unbelievable stats I didn't realize. Can you share those again?
In Ontario, we are 24,000 nurses short, and that comes from the Ontario Nurses Association this year. So it's a current statistic. In Ontario, we have 2.3 physicians for 1,000 people. Physicians are overwhelmed, and that's coming from the Ontario Medical Association. And regarding PSWs, in 2022, there was a report from a union president that indicated that recent grads of the PSW program are struggling as they're integrating into the medical system just due to shortages and overwhelm, and realizing the gravity of the short PSW circumstance we're in.
If you're working in those fields, what can you do as far as self-help? I know that you're out there to help them. So what would a strategy be when someone comes to you? Can you share that?
A strategy is to reach out as early as possible. Just starting that conversation is often healing. And just being able to talk to someone that's outside of the immediate medical system is helpful as well. So start a conversation with any therapist, any counselor. Just start that conversation. I always start, again, self-compassion, self-care, and just this ease. Because honestly, when our bodies are that tired, we're not having the time to recoup, to find joy, and just to find that sense of balance.
And that was going to be my next question. I think you just answered it. But when I know when I get into something and I'm totally enthralled with it, I can't let it go. And you kind of get stuck in that mode. Is that what happens? Like you said, our nurses are so giving. Do they just keep going and don't realize it?
Well, I think they have to keep going. It's their job. So that is part of it.
Right.
But in that stance as well, it's realizing the limitations of the system and that they can only do as much as possible. And they are all, from my observation, all of them are overwhelmed and tired. So supporting each other is important, but finding some personal support outside your immediate family is definitely beneficial as well.
Wow. We've talked about this before, and I don't think we put enough emphasis on how you can, be supportive, especially if you have a member of your family that's a nurse or a PSW, just being supportive of them too, right? To help them get through these things. Cause I don't even know if you can get through it. Let's be honest. If you're constantly working in that environment, you're going to be tired, but you need, like you said, you need I don't know, self-preservation, I guess. Like what, give me some ideas that they could do for themselves to sort of turn off, I guess. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. The best recommendation is just having hobbies and things that are away from work, that are personal, that do build strength and confidence, and where we just have this sense in life of purpose outside of our jobs. That's the balance piece. Yes, we all can work hard, but we all need to have a personal life that kind of feeds that personal joy as well. And whatever that looks like, it's different for everyone. It could be a painting, it could be physical activity, it could just be time outside. I mean, over and over, I always come back to just time outside, just ground to nature. And even in winter, we can do that, Dave.
You bet you can. You bet you can. You get out there and enjoy those brisk walks or skate or snowshoeing or whatever it is you like to do in the winter. That's funny because we talk about that in the hub this month as well in January. Just having people get outdoors. I think we lack all that vitamin D. We get locked in, right? And then we kind of forget that you can still go out and play. You just got to be prepared for it. And I'm getting off topic. I'm sorry, but you got me going on that one. That was pretty quick. As far as folks that you work with, maybe talk a little bit about what you do. So if I was a PSW and I was coming to you, let's talk about what you do for a change and say, okay, here's some of the ground rules, or here's some of the body of the work that you would do with a person that maybe is coming from that situation to you.
Mm-hmm.
Long-winded.
It's okay. As a psychotherapist, we always look at someone's circumstance. So the balance in their life, their work, their home life, their personal life, how they're caring for themselves. That's always a conversation to start with. But then it's negotiating some goals and breaking it down to small goals. None of us can solve the challenges we're facing immediately. It's always best to start with a small goal, see some results, and continue moving. So honestly, Dave, the biggest thing often is just starting with self-care. What did you used to do? What do you like to do? If that doesn't suit you anymore, is there something brand new that you can do just to find that sense of joy, even if it's only for 5 or 10 minutes? Because sometimes we are so overworked that thought of even just relaxing and having a sense of peace for 5 or 10 minutes is too much. So I typically start with a conversation that's targeted around a goal with a very small kind of outcome to achieve and then to keep building.
It's easy to see how we forget that, because I was just going to say to you, we always see the end goal and we always forget about the little steps, right? We always just want the end goal. And that's so critical. I mean, it's like in anything you do every day of your life, do the little goal first, right? Set that small step so you can build off of it. We forget that, don't we? All the time.
Mm-hmm. We all do. In many life circumstances, Dave, we all do that.
So I think I'm getting from you today the message is those small goals, realistic, and get help, or seek out someone to talk to that's in the field that can help you away from your actual field that you're in, be a PSW or a nurse or a doctor. Sort of separate the two so you can sort of get life balance back. Is that kind of where we're going today?
Mm-hmm. If someone wants to begin that conversation, that's a fabulous way to start that conversation. And then you're right, we do focus on the long-term goals. And it's amazing, 3 months in, 4 months in, how we'll do a summary conversation and just go back to the original goals. So you've achieved this and you've achieved this. And often clients will just sit back and not even really have put a lot of attention to those small achievements. So that's a blessing in this work as well, is just building that picture around successes as they come, and just not only helping build the goals, but also reflecting the successes back.
Wow. I love it. Is there anything else you want to add to get people going? This is January. So, I think we need to remind people to be active, because it can be a long winter.
Mm-hmm. It can be. And my conversation is always just reach out to someone and begin that conversation. And when looking for someone, the best thing to do is start at Psychology Today, type in your town. all of the therapists and counselors will pop up, and you can make a choice based on someone's profile. Having that conversation with someone outside your family, outside your colleague group, is a good place to start.
And how would they get a hold of you if they wanted to talk to you directly?
They can find me by Googling Purposefully Unplugged, or they can reach out via email or telephone. Email is lori@purposefullyunplugged.com, and phone is 226-934-7425.
Lori, thanks for taking the time today and talking about this. I think it's such a critical thing, and I know we're going to visit it again, but I really appreciate you taking the time and having this conversation.
Thank you, and Happy New Year, Dave.
Thanks.